Hello, this is Rebecca from Bellwether Bespoke. Today we're going to learn the basics on reading a pattern. So the first thing that I want to show you about reading a pattern is the grain line. I'm going to turn this around so it's easier for me to reach it. Okay, the grain line is this little arrow that you'll see on different pattern pieces, and it'll have the word grain line there. And the grain line, when you're laying out your pattern piece, is always parallel with your selvage. So you wouldn't lay it like this or even like this, but you would always make sure your grain line is in line with the selvage. The second thing is your notches. That's these little triangles on the edges where you've cut out your pattern, and those are used to match up your pieces to make sure you're putting them in the right place. So this is the crown of a hat, and this is the brim of the hat. And so after the pieces are cut out and you snip the little notches, then you would line up these two notches with these two notches and then sew them, and that way you know that this piece is where it's supposed to be attached to that piece. The other thing that you have on pattern pieces is circles and squares, and it depends on the pattern. Some have circles, some have squares, and I'm not sure why they have different unless it's the company. However, when you cut out your pattern, you use the dots and squares to line up your pieces after you have sewn some things. So what you use for these is a marking pencil. Now technically when you buy these, they call them quilting pencils on the package, but they're still a marking pencil. And they come off in the wash, and you can just take a damp cloth and rub them off, but most of the time they get sewn up in the seam anyway. So you would just mark your dot, and then when you're attaching the corresponding piece of fabric, then you know where to put a certain thing. The dot will be on the other piece as well. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to show you was, well, let's do it this way. Now, you folded your fabric, you have two layers, and you have a piece of pattern that has this little tiny thing, and it says center on fold. So this is your cut on fold. This is still your grain line. Now for this example I'm using the opposite of the grain, but this is the example of the fold. So this line would still be parallel to your fold. I guess we could go it this way and keep it technically correct. And you would cut out your piece so that when you opened it, you have a front and a back in this case, and they're both exactly the same. So you cut two on the fold, but when it has the little curved arrows, that is your grain line. Those are always cut on a fold. So that's the basics of reading a pattern. Thanks for watching.